Howdy, and welcome to the Roundtable for Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross.
Connor Shenold.
Johnny Payne.
Kiri Hester.
Brooke Bullock.
Ada Cross.
And we are talking about episodes 55 through 58.
Yay! Mine is finally over.
Yes, before we get to that, we do want to mention, just in case you heard all those names, and one of those names was missing. That would be my wife, Kimberly. We are recording this on Sunday, December 10th, and she is down because she works in the petri dish known as the Oklahoma Public Education System.
And even worse, she works with the littles.
Yeah.
So they got they have zero personal space boundaries and lots of germs.
Yes, they are all the ones sniffling and doing all that kind of stuff. So she will not be in the next few episodes of Red Dirt D&D. Not sure how many episodes we're talking about, but she will be back. So if for some reason you're like, well, where's Beatrix? That's why. So
That's right. Don't cancel your Patreon subscription. Beatrix will be back.
Beatrix is coming back.
She's just sitting quietly in the corner.
We've got all kinds of plans that have been thrown out onto the table to explain this absence.
She is chilling out and watching holiday specials on the Hallmark Channel.
That's exactly what's happening. It's a
Let
marathon
us know
today.
which one we use.
Yeah. Oh, she's been watching the Hallmark specials since July.
That tracks.
Episodes 55 through 58. Connor, did we ever track how many episodes we finally ended up doing?
I did 18.
Oh my goodness.
Holy
It was
cannolis.
almost 20, but I sped y'all through the...
For those playing at
last
home,
dude.
he could have gone longer.
I really could have.
There were a couple puzzles where I could definitely tell, that shouldn't have been solved with a roll, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll solve it with a roll.
I mean, even I know that you worked to trying to get it done, but by the end of that fourth episode, we were talking about also going into December to do it. So how do you feel about the run?
I think it went really well. Obviously, I had the last couple of episodes, I had to speed y'all through it, but even then, I think it doesn't really take away too much from
I don't think
anything.
it felt sped at all.
No.
Like
That's
it had a good flow.
Okay, good.
There was so much tension at the very end there that I
yeah.
feel like it wasn't really like speeding.
Yeah,
it
I
was
never
just
felt
thinking
rushed or
faster.
anything.
When we
It was
get
good.
to 58, do I have something to talk about with Zianci? But we'll wait till then.
Johnson's not here.
I did have a question for you. Now, I set up the Spider-Vin idea, and that was actually set up for you to have because unfortunately, here's the thing with running D&D or playing D&D or especially DMing it or creating it, is that it is a first-person narrative. If you guys know literature at all, it is all a first-person narrative. Anything going on outside of that first person, you don't know about. Whereas with a third person or a narrator, you can tell other stories that are going on.
Yeah.
You can't do that in D&D. So I created Spider-Vin to allow you to do that. How did you feel about being able to use that?
Well, it threw me off because obviously it's a first-person perspective. Honestly, the nobles in that room, they're playing card games, they're shooting some pool. Not really much is going on until the very end. But it did give me a moment to be able to kind of feed you all some stuff, especially with once you guys had done Lady J's room, and through Spider-Vin's eyes, you're able to see that she kind of sits up a little straighter and turns over to Ouroboros and is like, I think I remember where I know them from. And so able to feed you guys a little bit like that. So that was really cool because I hadn't originally exactly come up with a way to kind of hint that you guys are playing a very integral part in almost the entirety of Ouroboros' life. As I was being able to kind of shoehorn that in through Spider-Vin.
Yeah, and then when we tried to get into his room, you got us through Spider-Vin and saw there's an alarm going off, and he's coming to the room, so it allowed you to do that. So all I'm saying is you're welcome. What can I say except you're welcome?
That was a fun way to do it. Go.
No, that's just a fun way to do it, to allow for that to happen.
Yeah, that was a fun realization for us as characters and players to realize that we are indeed back in time, slightly twisting or nudging the timeline. And so things that we do as, time catches up, so to speak, do come into their memories of the people live in the other room.
Yeah. Don't think about it too hard.
It's harsh.
It'll
I mean,
hurt.
it is a wonderful, because I've always believed that there were two types of time travel in stories, in any kind of narrative. It's either the you go back in time and change whatever's happening, or and create like maybe a separate timeline.
Yep.
Or you go back and there is nothing you can do. It's already, you've already gone back and changed whatever you've done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This felt very much like Time Traveler's Wife situation. We are the time traveler going back to Orobos's childhood and then his adolescence and then his young adult. We just keep showing up. He's like, who are these guys? This is getting a little creepy.
Yeah. So like the way I pictured it is, so obviously you have time. Everyone thinks of it as kind of linear, straight line.
Not so wibbly wobbly.
Not so wibbly wobbly as they'll have you believe. But so at some point, even though you guys are going into the past, making little jumps back over said line, technically you guys have already done
all of
this.
that. Yeah.
You just don't know that you've done it.
Right.
Which is fabulous.
Yeah.
I love
I mean, that's what I love about it. Is I think it was a
Marty
terrific
McFly doesn't know that his parents are together because he was actually there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and so it's you guys, no matter what you do, it has already been done.
Yeah.
By you in these people's lives.
Yeah.
And so it was like I had with going back a little bit for the memory that you guys go through with Lady J's room, I had like 3 different scenarios of what you guys could do, and typed that out to Kiri on her little bullet pointed list of
if they do this happens. If they choose not to do that, like if they turn her immediately into the Aboleths, if they Abishai, if they immediately return her,
That was one of the choices.
yeah,
Oh,
Connor was prepared
How
for.
would you think we would do that?
because you guys were so suspicious of Lady J, I didn't know how you guys
Right.
were going to play
If-
that.
if-
If you guys were going to be like, okay, yeah, we're going to turn her back into the Abishai to try and get her away from this plot that she's cooked up against Orobos.
It was a thought that crossed my mind.
Yeah, and you can't say none of you didn't think of it.
I totally didn't.
I didn't, because at that point then she just becomes a helpless person being chased by a demon. And at that point I don't care who you are. If
Yeah.
you're a helpless person being chased by a demon, I'm backing you.
We're the
to
heroes.
Yeah,
we're
we're the
supposed
heroes.
to
Yeah.
do the helping.
Until the demon chasing moment, I totally would have thrown her under the bus.
Yeah, and so I did build that as
So that was an option.
an option.
And then it's like if Lady J doesn't get around to revealing her true nature, then the Abishai are going to do it. And if there was a lot of bullet points, and it makes me think of the ways that writing for Dungeons and Dragons are very similar to how video game plot writers write. Right?
Yeah.
If they choose to do it this way, then that happens, and if they choose to, and then there are some times where it's. This is how the time travel works. No matter how they choose to do it, this is the outcome.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, the classic
No
fake
matter-
door.
no matter
All doors
what
are door number
you
1.
do will
Illusion
lead
of
you
choice.
to, and that
Yeah.
that is one of the time travel thing is, no matter what you do, the universe just sets it right.
Yes.
Right. Time doesn't want to be traveled.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have Cios on our side, and he's got a thing for Lady J, so...
And a pixie puff recipe.
Yeah. And I would like to say that I think Cios needs to be an ongoing.
There are
daily-
already
you.
plans. There's some
Because
things going in notes,
there's
even
some-
I need
now.
to give you his
There's some
stuff.
great things about Cios. I love
This
love
god
the
of
fact
luck.
because here's the thing, none of this works without some kind of celestial intervention. That
Yeah.
just because none of this could possibly work where he's directing us in the right way. He's even in the labyrinth, it's like the labyrinth leads us in the correct way, which it's not really a labyrinth if it's leading you in the correct direction. But
It's a labyrinth for other people, not
Yeah.
for you
Yeah.
guys.
If you got a friendly labyrinth where, again, in my mind's eye, like pathways and walls were closing off and other places were opening, so you could only go left and then you
Yeah.
could only go right. And
Yeah,
so
like
I thought it was
he
a great
is
visual.
guiding you through his labyrinth. But if any random person, deity, dragon tries to go into his domain, they're going to have a much harder time because he's going to actively be moving those walls to where they can't go to where he wants them to.
So I do have a question, actually.
Yeah, go for it.
For Connor, specifically. Being the showrunner, I did not know this. Is Seos a celestial or is he Fae? Is he a Fae god or a celestial god? Or do you know?
I think celestial.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
But-
Fae is not his actual homeworld.
Yeah, because like he.
He just likes it here.
If we were to banish
Yeah.
him, he'd go to Celestia, not.
Yeah, because like he just happens to be right now in the Feywild, but he's not originally from the Feywild.
Gotcha.
And he kind of has like followers in several different other planes and such like that.
See, that's why I was thinking
thought
we could use him for future campaigns because he's such a good. I mean, you created a really
you.
good deity on that one, and that's hard to do. You know, having for 40 years watched Greyhawk and all the different deities that are out there, it's not always easy to create a really good one. I think you did one that's very personable, as well as one that's that helps guide the characters when they need to be guided.
That's one of the things I think jives so well with me is that we have this god of luck who is very much getting their fingers into the lives of mortals and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's just great.
Yeah, because like I know like, and no shade to anybody, but so many people like when they make up gods, it's always like a trickster god.
Yeah.
Which they have their uses and stuff like that.
Right.
But I wanted to kind of differ from that, and so I was like, let's do a luck god.
And it is. I know that people have invented luck gods before, but I don't think I've ever seen one played.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, totally unique for me anyway. I know that again, they're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well, that's just that luck would be involved in some people's lives, and you know, and this it explains so much about how luck moves around, how you have luck for a while and then it's gone, and then bad luck isn't like an anti-luck god. That's just that's just Seos going, no, that's going to be a 1, natural 1.
It's just a concept of luck.
It's the
exactly.
concept of luck.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is wonderful. So we go into episode 55, which is Bleakburn, and that's where we get to see the little baby
Oribos.
Baby Oribos.
Once again, Red Dirt becomes a lesson show. Like, don't let evil people, evil adults, affect your life. Or if they do, like, don't listen to evil adults.
Yeah.
And Beatrix, the character, just as Kim, just embodies Beatrix so well in those episodes. Just the compassion that comes out of Beatrix, it's just so much fun.
We also had some of the funnier bloopers. From
55 and 56.
Billy was there too.
Yeah.
Well, Billy got it all started, which was, and it started the outtakes, of course, which was, I think it should be Bellatrix going and doing. I think they're just a bit much.
And sure enough, I invite you guys over, and things take a turn
I don't know.
immediately.
I don't know where that came from. We were horrible.
You were.
We were deflecting with humor. Those were some things, and it's just like.
So Bellatrix had to say,
I'm not
"Go."
supposed- I'm
I
not
guess
supposed
we're
to-
gonna walk away now.
I do love
Poor
it.
Oribos. We're not supposed to tell anybody. You weren't supposed to burn down the city.
How's Bleakbird doing? Well, it's on fire.
Yeah. It's like,
Jack.
A child.
yeah. I mean, that goes back with the deflect with humor and stuff like that, because that is kind of a darker tone that I
Yes.
had
Yes.
in my thing of obviously something very bad is happening. Ulysses is a very bad person.
Yeah.
Very bad men.
And it's hard. It's hard because we've started to like the Duke, and seeing him as a child. You're right. It's a lot for us. That's I think why we are deflecting the humor.
Yeah.
It's because it's sad.
Yeah. And
Classic evil bad guy making, Ulysses making Oribos do things.
And there's nothing we can do about it.
And
Right.
it's right, exactly.
We can change history, but not that much.
yeah.
We can't go in there and kill him because we know that something's got to happen to him later.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so kind of alluding to those darker tones without it being way over the top, because I was a little concerned because I was like, I know I have this in here and it is kind of enough to say Ulysses is a bad man, but you guys don't know the full extent of why Oribos has completely kind of gone against Ulysses.
Yeah. We're going to actually talk about this even more, but it's already 15 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
So we are going to talk about this on the other side of this break. We're going to have a long version of the roundtable. If you want the full hour of us talking about episodes 55 through 58, you've got to become a Patreon member right now at any level. $5 a month gets you this full version, plus you get early versions of our episodes uninterrupted. You get bonus content. You get access to our Discord server where we just talk and we just have a blast. So actually, I think recently on the Christmas stuff, the Mark has been sharing
yes,
it's basically been an advent calendar of classic
crazy
stuff. So.
Crazy classic things all across the board from Christmas. You know, the Star Trek Make It So, and the Heat Miser and Cold Miser songs from the old claymation things. It's been fun.
So join us on Patreon right now, patreon.com/RedDirtDnD, or just search Red Dirt DnD on Patreon. We'd love to have you. Please join us right now. In the meantime, we're going to head to the full version of the roundtable right now.
Right now?
Right now.